don't think I do it good.
Arsenal started like a house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Don't believe in any luck, I believe I'm self-made, yeah. Well then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you are all doing well. Please do smash a like, as my good friend Danny Rumsey said, whilst waiting for me to come live. Subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course, hit that notification bell. And if you are out in shorts, Danny, you're a madman, because it's freezing out there. That's why I've got my hat on, the heating on. We're blasting. I did have to take the dogs for a walk, and they were not happy, but needs must, and that needs must. Listen, I hope you're doing well. It's been a while, hasn't it? I think the last time we spoke was probably Sunday. Being stuck into work, start my shifts from the 20th, which means you'll be seeing a lot more of me, and I won't have to miss you as much as I have been doing. But today, we are going to, of course, be reacting to Javi Gracia's most recent Anto, don't worry. On the 20th, it's going to be sorted, bro. I've just got to get through this training, bro. I know it's frustrating me as well. It's frustrating the viewers, but don't worry. I'll be back soon. Yeah, needs must. You know what it's like. Cost of living crisis and that. We've all got to live, haven't we, at the end of the day. Down with the government. Down with a lot of them. Horrible. Hate them. Anyway. And get it up to my eyeballs and everything. But we're all in the same boat. So come on. This is an escapism for me. Escapism for you. And on the 20th, when my shifts get sorted out, you'll be seeing a lot more of me. So it's good. Philip, I'm missing you too. Andy says it's a tough game this weekend. Very tough. Very, very tough. But we have to win our home games now. Like, it's that stage in the season where performances, near misses, they all count for nothing, man. We need to get goals. We need to get points on the board. I'm going to be starting a new show, actually, next week. So I'm excited about that. I'll keep it under my lid for now. But, you know, you might see like the likes of Corey and that return. So I think you've missed that. So new show coming next week. So watch this space. It'll be probably Tuesday next week. It'll fluctuate. I was going to do Wednesday, but there's some Premier League games on Wednesday. I'm looking to probably middle of week, but it's going to be Tuesday next week. So, yeah. Good to catch you live as well, Leeds. Big up to Ethan as well. iStream Football says, I'm very worried for Brighton. I think we lose 3-0. Brighton way better. No. None of that under Gracia. None of that under Gracia. Clip it up. Trust me. We will be defensively sound. Whether or not we'll be able to put it in the back of the net, that's another thing. Don't get me wrong. Brighton are very good. Yeah. Mitoma, Solly March. McAllister's a World Cup winner, for example. But Gracia will have a plan and they'll defend well. Jeezy said, is Rodri back or just in training? Well, let's get into that. For me, it sounded like Sinistera and Rodrigo Moreno were very, very close. And it was music to my ears. Music to my ears. Because I said only last week that we need them players back. If you're a God-fearing man, if you're a religious man, woman, child, whatever, whoever watches, have them in your prayers, because I think them two would improve us astronomically. Both of them would get goals. Especially, look, listen, Rodrigo's in hot form and Cini is so close. Cini is so clinical. Get him in, we'll be fine. I think we'll get into it. Right, let's get into the presser. So he was asked, first of all, by Sky's Tim Thornton, goals dried up. Only 1 goal in 5. How are you going to address it? How important is it to have Rodrigo and Bamford? And he said, we need all the players. Big up to Ethan, by the way, who says, go to back wall in Brighton, attack with pace. Big up to Ethan, who's actually been a member of this channel for 22 months. 22 months. Ethan, you're a hero. Big up to you. Thank you for that, brother. He said, we need all the players and... we need all the players back. And this is where he started to sort of allude to the fact that we were going to get more players back, because he said the last few games, we've not had many sub-opportunities. We've not had many sub-opportunities. The options on the bench haven't been the best that he would like, yeah? but he did say we are now working with more players. Does that mean Cini's back? Does that mean Rodrigo's back? Struijk, we know's back. You know, he's got more players at his disposal in the attacking areas as well. Because, to be honest, when we're turning to Mateo Joseph and Sam Greenwood in that game against Chelsea, I really like Mateo Joseph. I understood the substitution. Greenwood, I'm a bit meh. At least him saying the fact that we now have more sub opportunities is basically saying I've got more options. Who are them more options? Well, come on, it's Cini, it's Rodrigo. Because who else is coming in that's injured? There is nobody. I'm not getting Forshaw back. I'm not getting Dallas back. You know, these are long termers. So it's good sign. Craig says maybe it is Tyler Roberts, bro. Maybe it's Tyler Roberts. He's back in here from his injury. QPR has been sent back to Leeds. Maybe that's what it is. Then maybe we'll get Tyler back. By the way, there's been that compilation of Rafinha's goals in that first season under Bielsa when he came in January. And when you watch that, how many chances Roberts and Bamford and Helder Costa missed is mental. Rafinha should have had double the assists he got. Double. Because you watch that compilation, my God, do they miss sitters. They miss bad sitters. He should have had double that. Jason Redshaw says, don't think it's a must-win, just effing not lose. Yeah, we can't lose, can we? 4-4-2, says Jason, yeah. And, we'll talk about that a little bit later on because he mentioned about Rutter maybe playing as a 2 and he'd have to play as a 9 last week because we had no one up alongside him. And I do think you do get the best out of Rutter alongside a Bamford, for example. Anyway, back to what he said. So he says, we've now got many sub chances. We are working with more players. We have more options for the next game. That is music to my ears, man. Give me Rodrigo, give me Sinisterra. To be fair to him, though, he did turn around and say, however, this is not important to me. We can only work with what we've got. I trust them all. And that's given a little boost to the players that are still around that haven't been injured. Do you know what I mean? He said it's not all about getting these players back, which is important, right? He's not blowing smoke up their ass saying they're the best thing since sliced bread every bloody week. But he's saying, look, if they are injured, then I've just got to get on with it. And that's good. He was then asked, you won your last home game. How important is your home form going to be? At home, you haven't been great this season. We've not been great away, though, have we? That's why we're down where we are. But, we got that first win against Southampton, against our home crowd. And the home crowd, it's huge. It's huge against Brighton. And Javi Gracia echoed them thoughts. He said it's going to be crucial for us with our supporters. It will be better. They help us so much. They are the difference makers. And I expect the same for the next game. And he did say, I want to thank them all for their support because we can feel it. Hey, God, working in the call centre again, man. You don't have to catch some shit. So it's a shame the club don't have that same outlook and mentality as Javi Gracia. Extra 10% rise on your season ticket, folks. Don't forget, we're going to talk about the board in a little bit anyway. We're bringing it back. Sack of the bond, sack of the bond, sack of the bond, Someone said to him, look, you've been 2 weeks into the job now, and this is your first full week with the players with no games in between. Obviously, we had the FA Cup previously. This is his first full week. And I didn't really think about that until I heard the question. I was thinking, oh, that's quite huge, isn't it? He's got a full week now working with the team, working on ideas, working on patterns of play to get Leeds United scoring goals. So that is music to my ears. He was asked, what have you learned in that time? He speaks really well. He just said, look, it confirmed to me how committed they are to the cause. And I love the next question. This came from Adam Pope, and it was brilliant how he sort of positioned it. Because instead of saying who's back, he basically says, how has Rodrigo and Sinisterra trained this week? That's the way he posed the question, which I thought was a really smart way of doing it. Listen, we've only got 56 likes on the video. Please do like the video. What are you waiting for, folks? Please smash that like. And he said they have trained this week and we will evaluate them in the next training session. And maybe they will play versus Brighton, or maybe we wait for Wolves away. But they're close. We're going to see, I believe, at least one of them. I think it might be Cine. But it's so important that they're back, and I like the way he posed the question, how did they train this week? Instead of saying, are they back? And him going, I don't want to speak about injuries. So it was good. Mick, comments haven't stopped. You are still commenting now, Mick. So yeah, they have trained this week and we'll evaluate them in the next training session, which will be tomorrow ahead of the game at Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff, of course. Like Phil says, what are you lot playing up? Please smash up the likes for Joe. Yeah, please do that. We're going to be talking about strikers quite a lot over the next questions because he was asked quite a lot of information. He was asked about Bamford. I think it might have been Pope. He said, how close is Bamford getting back to his best? His best was them 17 goals that he scored in the Premier League under Bielsa. I don't think we'll ever see them days again, but Javi Gracia did say he's important for us, and I want to help him to be the best version of himself. But I think we can all agree Bamford's broke. Yeah, he might play the odd games, but I think for me, we need to look elsewhere in the summer. I'm a massive fan of Bamford, but he just can't be relied upon. Maybe he gets some goals between now and the end of the season if he is fit, but even if he played every single game between now and the end of the season, for me, we still need to move on. We still need to move on. Even if he scored in every game, and that would be like, 14, 13 goals on the spin, he still can't be trusted. It's sad because I do rate him, but he does need to move on. The rumours to Shea Adams were out again today because Shea Adams doesn't look like he's going to be signing a new deal at Southampton. Long-term admirers. I think, though, again, with the 49ers backing, we do need to look ahead of that. I do, it was need musts in previous times, but yeah, I think, yeah, we need to probably look better than that. We need killers, don't we? We need killers. He was then asked about Nonto because Mancini's been speaking. Obviously, Roberto Mancini is the Italian head coach. And he said, he's been talked about as Nonto as a striker, maybe as a second striker. And he said, yep, for sure, I agree. He's a good option. He started to play there for a little bit against Chelsea. If you remember when he came on, when Aronson and Rutter came off, Joseph and Nonto came on. He played up top for a bit while Harrison was still on the pitch at left wing. How Harrison was still on the pitch still, I asked myself the question, what was he doing then? I don't want to see him start at the weekend. It's just facts. I'm sorry. Yeah, Paul says, Joe, you're right. He's broke, and I had to go at you when he had 2 good games. You bang on, mate. He is, though, and he's broke. Unfortunately, the dogs are here, Scally. Marco's there. Billy's downstairs. So yeah, he can see Nonto's playing as a second striker, and I think that's important for us as well because I think a lot of teams have come up with a game plan when Rocker's play. Rocker, sorry, I read Rocco in the comments from Josh Porrett and then said Rocker, but Nonto. So if we can move him about the pitch, it will help. And aid us. Staying with the attacking positions or positions in general, he was asked about Sam Greenwood because Javi Gracia had been to see the under-21s this week. I like what he said. He said, listen, I enjoyed the game. I enjoy watching the young players and they need my support as well. That's important. That also shows them that, listen, they're in his mind. That's something if your head coach comes and watches you regularly, you're going to be buzzing, right? So that's important. Jimmy with the super chat, big up Jimmy, says, we need to pull the trigger. Shot volume equals goals. Yeah, I mean, we had 16 shots, though, against Fulham, didn't we? Or it might have been Southampton. I don't know what it is, bro. They just need that 1, 2, and I think they'll start to move. I do think they'll start to move. No lilac background, Mick. It's blue, bro. It's blue. I can change it if you want. It's a bit lighter, that green and but we go with blue. I've got blue here, blue there. I think it looks nice. Not lilac, blue. Maybe you're colorblind. On the Sam Greenwood, what's his position? He said maybe you should ask him where he wants to play, but maybe I choose for the balance of the team. He has qualities that mean I can play him in many positions. Maybe Sam Greenwood will. Maybe I don't think Sam Greenwood's a Leeds United Premier League player long term. I don't know what you folks think, but I think long term Sam Greenwood's not going to be playing in the Premier League for Leeds United. And maybe also because he maybe because he can play so many positions, it actually might be I don't know, maybe it might be a bit of a hindrance to him. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it might be a bit of a hindrance to him. Do you know what I mean? Because he can play in a number of positions. Here we go. Don't know if you've mentioned it yet, but what do you think about Rutter not wanting to join Leeds, says Nigel. I don't know about that. Where have you read that? I haven't read that. That's news to my ears. He's here, though, isn't he? And we're going to speak about Rutter now because someone said to him, I think it was Phil Hay, said a lot of money spent on Rutter. What are your first impressions of him? He said he's young and he needs time, but when he's asked to do a job, he will do a job. Obviously, he was asked to play in the number 9. He did that. You know, it's a long journey for him. I think we can all agree. They've paid the money for his long-term potential. Maybe you look back in reflection and say, maybe we should have gone and got Guy Carres from Coventry. He was ready-made. Do you know what I mean? But Leeds United do seem to go for these sort of projects. And listen, it worked with Nonto, and I think it will work with Rutter. It's just we need a killer right now, right? And Guy Carres could have come in and done that job. He was asked, can he be a 9 long-term? And Javi said, listen, I've spoke about it before, but for me, his best position is a second forward. And I reiterate that. I've said before, we need Bamford or Rodrigo to play alongside him, to get him in behind. Yeah, Connor, it is probably bollocks, and it don't matter anyway, is it? Because he's here. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, there's a lot of them stories. Like Robin Cox spoke about him, the Premier League and that, and then all of a sudden he's going to Newcastle. It's just codswallop. Listen, anything that comes from that dude at 90 minute, just don't believe it, man. Man ain't got a clue. Believe me. And he hates Leeds. I forgot his name now. Connor had him on once. I forgot his name. He ain't got a Scooby-Doo, man. So Rutter, big rep. Will the price tag affect him? Someone said. He says, yeah, no, this is what he said, right? And it sort of pissed me off a little bit because the guy who asked it, I don't know who he was. It was right towards the end, but he said, Rutter came with a big reputation. Is the price tag affecting his form? And I was like, what are you on about? Like, he's not in bad form. Like, what? He'd hardly played any games. Big up. Let me say big up there to my good friend Kate from Leeds Birds Rants. Make sure you go on over and share some love with Kate. She'll be hopefully with us on the final word if she's not too busy. But yeah, I thought, what you want about? He's not in bad form. He's clowning. You're talking rubbish, mate. Do you know what I mean? Bit of a random one. He's a young lad that's come in and played about 3 games of football and a few off the bench. So I don't know what you're on about this bad form. Were you expecting him to come in and score 30 goals or something? He's not Haaland. I just didn't get the question. But he said, Javi said, look, it's a pleasure to work with him. We don't speak about money. I only go on what I see, which is the right attitude to have. We're gonna. While we're sticking with the strikers, obviously, he'd spoken about practicing and finishing. He'd spent a week with them, and he was asked who are the best finishers at the football club. He said a bit tongue-in-cheek, it's a secret. I don't want to give Brighton any ideas. But it's not just on the strikers. It's on everyone, and that's important because someone mentioned about him saying other players have to contribute the goals. And he said, listen, we do not need to talk anymore on this. We have to do it. And that's same for us as fans watching it. I don't want to have another, because my mood was down with Jesse. He left, it went up. It was up against Man United because I thought we played well. And then it went down again against Everton because the club just messed about with this manager scenario. Then it went in when Javi came in, and I was still up after Fulham. But that Chelsea performance really pissed me off again. And it's starting to get at the play. It's starting now. Like I've got a lightning rod for certain players. The board still, but Javi Gracia, I really do like. But the board are a shit show. 10% pay rise. 10% pay rise. I wish 10% season ticket hike. We're going to talk about this Chris Armour shit show they've put themselves in as well. Yeah, so I'm still pissed, and I think people disagreed on the final word, and that's fine. It's all about opinions, but we should have got something from that Chelsea game for me. We were wasteful, so wasteful. People can't pass the ball 5 yards. You've got decision making, which is piss poor. They need to sort it out. And like Javi says, done with talking. We now have to do it. He mentioned about him creating chances, and that's true. That's definitely true. If you're not creating chances, then you're not going to score goals, are you? But we need to be ruthless. We need to be ruthless. He says this week we've done so much work, but you can't replicate them in-game moments. It's the same with penalties, right? Like, if you remember, England, Rashford, Saka, and people hammered Gareth Southgate because they were young and they'd hardly played any game and they were brought on to take penalties. But ultimately, Gareth Southgate missed a penalty himself, so he knows all about that, right? He knows all about that. And people go, Saka now takes penalties for Arsenal. Rashford's killing it. So it's a bit like Southgate probably feels vindicated. I remember backing the decision at the time as well on social media and taking a bit of flack for it. But ultimately, Gareth Southgate, because he knew himself about penalty misses, they'll have worked on them every training session. And he had his 5 best takers. But you cannot replicate being in a stadium. You cannot replicate being in a stadium. And this is what Javi's saying as well. We can do as much work as possible, but I cannot replicate that in-game moment. So you have to show composure in-game. They need to stop snatching at chances. We've seen too many of our midfielders, and we need goals from everywhere, snatching at chances. McKennie, Adams. The only really ones that for me are clinical, even Somerville can be guilty of snatching, pulling them wide. The only ones that are clinical for me, Nonto's very clinical. We've seen that. Outside of that, well, Rodrigo, I think, is clinical and Cine, but they're not playing yet. If they play at the weekend, then we have some killers in front of goal. The one that's really frustrating, and again, it comes back down to confidence. Bamford, like he just won't use his right foot. And when there's been opportunities for him to use his instep, he flicks his left boot at it, like the outside of it. I agree with Josh about McKennie. Everyone's shitting themselves. Jamie Dixon, yes, I understand what you're saying. This is why I said a new manager won't change our fortune in front of goal. But you can't also believe that we'd be in a better position with that clown still at the helm. Please tell me no. Please tell me no, because we're going to talk about that shit show in a second. But the players do have to talk, have composure in game. And he says we have to hope we can see results. He was asked how the team would look on Saturday, and he said, look, the players are motivated to play the next game. I believe that competition helps. The fact that he says we've got more options now off the bench. He's talking about Rodrigo, Cine. It's going to improve everyone. Bamford, arguably, this season was best when Rodrigo was still fit. Dwex, it is Jesse's fault, bro. You want to stand there, we can go, mate. We can go if you want. I'm ready. I'll suit up. I'll take yous on. Jesse Bloody Marsh, one of the worst managers to ever come through this football club. Wrecked what was there, what was built before. But he's not the only one. The board that bloody signed him as well and let him go on for as long as he was, playing the worst. Scally, I like taking the bait, though. It's what I live for. It's why I'm here. I'll suit up. It is Jesse's fault. I will bite, Danny. I love it, man. Jonathan says, leave it alone, Joe. Move on, pal. Yeah, fair. Dwex, man, get in the bin. Brighton. So he was asked about Brighton. Obviously, we got Brighton at the weekend and was asked about them potentially having their best season yet. He was asked what they do well. I mean, De Zerbi's, yeah, he's took them to the next level, and he from Graham Potter. He did say, I agree, they are on the best, they are one of the best teams. They are really strong in the attacking phases. He did say that they're the fifth team in terms of more goals scored. See, even that there's a nuance. That Jesse wouldn't have known. Do you remember when he came in and he watched Norwich and went, damn, these teams are good. They're scared. They're scared out here, man. He said, listen, it's always a good balance. Do I think Leeds United can get a shutout against Brighton? It'd be some achievement. Clean sheet first, then we'll see what we can get. Watch for Matoma and March 100%. How many of you got them in your fantasy team for the double game week? I haven't, because I think Leeds United might get a result. So I've doubled up on Brentford players for the double game week. Anyway, he says they've got great quality and will be very demanding, but we trust we have prepared well. Then finally, let's talk about it. Sack of the board time, sack of the board. So, backroom staff, Chris Armas. He says, he is not in my staff. I came with my own. He's not here. Maybe you should speak to the club. Why the club haven't told anyone? Like, what the mad thing is, right? They brought Chris Armas in. Why? When already people at the football club wanted Jesse sacked. Already people at the football club had said or considered sacking him. Victor Orta managed to get them to keep his job, right? So already there was people at the football club who were thinking, I don't think Jesse's the right man, you know. Already there were question marks. And then they went, let's go get Chris Armas. Chris Armas, who had failed miserably. What are you doing, dog? No. You stop biting that. That's me plug, man. You'll electrocute yourself, you nutter. Don't do that. Yeah, so they brought in Chris Armas, who had a nightmare at Manchester United, walking around listening to bloody, I don't know, probably the Just Joe football show in his AirPods. But yeah, so they gave this guy a job. Knowing that quite a large section of those behind the scenes wanted this man gone. So they then gave him a job. Why? Craziness, yeah? Then, when Jesse gets sacked, they gave people the option of whether or not they wanted to stay. And Chris, proper turncoat, said to his best mate, I'm staying. Of course he did. Money, I get it. Cost of living crisis, got family and all that. I get it. But why have the club allowed themselves to be in a position where they've gone to someone? Do you want to keep your job? Or, like, what are you doing out here? Did they think maybe there's something in it in terms of a legal standpoint? I mean, he'd only just signed. They can't then go right on your bike, can they? But what's he doing here now? Like, what's he doing here? Is he on gardening leave? Are we paying him a wage? Like, I do not understand the situation they've put themselves in. This is a Premier League club. I've said it before, and I've heard it many, many times. Yeah? Kyan, love that. Love that, Kyan. Big up, man. I've said it many times. We are a Premier League football club run like a League One football club behind the scenes. I spoke to someone the other day who said there's changes afoot, which you knew anyway. There's some people leaving. Some people who are close to players and that who are leaving. It's like a boys' club at Leeds United. That's why we need some proper people at the football club who know how to run businesses. Now, that might seem crazy because Andrea Radrizzani's got a lot of money. Angus Kinnear's worked at Arsenal, worked at West Ham, etc., engineering stadium moves and all that sort of stuff. So who am I to say these haven't got the acumen? But it is a shit show. It is a shit show. If you compare it with other football clubs, for me, I mean, it's just a little bit of a shit show, personally. And the fact that they've have employed a guy, sacked his mate, and then he stayed, and now I don't know. It makes you laugh. Like, did Javi say, "I don't want him around"? Like, how did that work? Tell me how it worked. Because Marcus Abad, the goalkeeping coach, Michael Scubala have all stayed. The one person that hasn't is Chris Armas. So who's made that? Like, what are we doing? Is what I'm saying. It is proper stupidity. Stupidity. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Javi says, I've got enough staff already. I've got the people who came with me, Marcus, Scubala. We don't need no more. Mark says he has gone. Where have you read that? Where have you read that, Mark? Where has he said he has gone? He's not gone. And if he has gone, they've had to pay him off. Armas is no more. Have I misheard, misread? He's still there, right? He's on gardening leave, you would assume. Has something come out since? Where are you getting that he is no more? It's just an absolute shit show and more wasted money, as Kate says, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, NJ1. These people saying he's not. He is here. No. You're misinterpreting it. Chris Armas is still here. He hasn't been sacked. He hasn't gone. Folks, he hasn't gone. I don't think you've never mind. He's not gone. He's not in the coaching staff, but he's still on the books. This is the point I'm saying. It's a shit show. They've give a guy a job, and then, like, now where is he? What's he doing? What are we paying him for? This is the point. It's mad. JC, big up to you for becoming a member of the Just Joe football show. Big up to you. News says, stay present, hermano. Yeah. When you're reading the title, Chris Armas is no more. He's gone, etc. He's not at 4 Parch, as someone said. He's not, because he's not part of the management team anymore. He's gone, do one. But the point I'm making is, it's like, why have we let ourselves get into that situation anyway? Why did they give him a job when Jesse was already ready for the boot? And then when they've gone to, who else was the other guy who people liked? Marriage, for example. Marriage, he went, but then Chris stayed. It's mad. It's mad. Yeah, no, Jamie, you could say that as well. But they need some people there, don't they? And I always feel that you do need a little bit of a transition. You can't get rid of all the staff. You need to have something there, you know? I think, well, this is what I'm saying. He's on gardening leave, though. He hasn't been sacked, has he? Like, for me, just fucking, I don't know, get him selling programs or something. Make him work for his money. Get him selling programs or something. Yeah, it's mad. They kept him there, but this club, it's madness, in it. Remember, folks, they left Michael Scubala in charge of arguably one of the biggest games we'll play all season against Everton. Had he have got a result, they'd have given him the job. Do you see what I'm saying? Anyway, that's the board. Listen, I'm going to be on a show at 9 o'clock. So make sure you join me for that. We're going to be on a show. When's it on now? Let's have a look. I'll tell you where it's at. It is on the bookmakers.com YouTube channel. So I'm going to be there at 9 o'clock just previewing the Premier League. So what I'm going to do, Jamie says you look knackered. I am, bro, man. It is what it is. I just got to get through these few weeks and then we'll be good, man. I'll be there. YouTube for Bookmakers TV in the chat. Yeah, I'm going to be there at 8 o'clock previewing the Premier League. So make sure you check me that. We need to get them views up, people. So make sure you check it out. Yeah, man. So join me there. I'll be back tomorrow with your preview as well for the Leeds versus Brighton game, and then of course we'll have a watch along on Saturday as well, and then you'll have the final word on Sunday. Yeah, we move. Listen, as is always the case, thanks for supporting the channel. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to it. Joe was wondering what you think of Jesse. Yeah, man, amazing. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you at 9. Yeah, on Bookmakers TV if you're on there. Yeah, man, it'll be good. Peace out now. I love you all. And yeah, man, I'll see you in a bit. Peace out, Bully Bean now. Peace out, folks, and I'll see you tomorrow.